team that's going to get out of the second round because of the personnel around them. They just don't have the size.
2 games in after my injury, turnovers, missed free throws.
I know that that's not the popular thing to say because you're like, oh my God, LeBron's 40 years old. How can you say that? First off, I believe in LeBron's window.
The Los Angeles Lakers are in serious trouble, and their biggest weakness isn't shooting, turnovers, or even injuries. It's their size. Stephen A. Smith recently went off on this issue, calling out the Lakers for getting bullied in the paint and struggling to defend against dominant big men. He believes their lack of size is holding them back from being a true contender.
Being a team that's going to get out of the second round. They might not get out of the first round as of yet, but it's not because of Luka and LeBron. It's because of the personnel around them. They just don't have the size.
And honestly, he's right. This problem is affecting both their defense and offense, making them one of the most inconsistent teams in the league.
If, as constructed, barring injury or whatever, if this team loses at some point in the playoffs, I think it will likely just be a size thing where something overwhelms them with offensive rebounds, points in the paint. Easy.
If they don't find a solution soon, this could completely derail their season. Stephen A. Smith has been vocal about the Lakers' biggest flaw, and this time he went straight for the jugular. He made it clear that their lack of size is killing them on both ends of the floor. According to him, the Lakers are getting outworked, outmuscled, and completely exposed in the paint. He pointed out that they can't secure defensive rebounds, they allow easy second-chance points, and they struggle to finish inside against stronger, bigger teams.
The greatness of Jokic, and you see the size on Denver. When you look at teams like that, Memphis, and some of the size it has, etc., that's going to be an impediment to the success of the Los Angeles Lakers.
His frustration makes sense, because when you watch the Lakers play, it's obvious that their front court simply isn't big or strong enough to dominate the paint. They don't have a true enforcer, a rim protector, or a consistent presence inside other than Anthony Davis.
They're not the greatest defensive team in the world to begin with.
Even the stats back it up. The Lakers are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. This isn't just a minor flaw, it's a major issue that's affecting every part of their game.
And so you take all of those things into consideration, and then you consider the game, the postseason game, Wendy knows this as well. It slows. The game slows down, and size matters more.
Anthony Davis is their only true big man who plays significant minutes.
There's not a championship big on the market right now. I can't wave a wand and create that opportunity.
And while he's an elite defender, he can't do it all alone. He's constantly forced to cover for the lack of size around him, leading to exhaustion and even an increased injury risk. Outside of AD, who else do they have? Jackson Hayes? Christian Wood? Neither of them is a dominant force in the paint, and they struggle against elite big men. The Lakers don't have a reliable shot blocker outside of AD, and that means opponents get easy looks inside. On the rebounding side, they're getting crushed on the boards every night, which leads to second-chance points for the opposing team. It's a simple but painful truth. If you can't control the paint, you can't control the game.
And even before they traded Anthony Davis, this was not a team that defended great in the paint. They were 4th in the league. They had the 4th highest percentage for opponents shooting in the paint.
The worst part? This problem gets exposed even more against teams with dominant big men. Just look at their matchups against guys like Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Whenever they face teams with a strong front court, they get completely overpowered in the paint.
In games, they're really 10-1 or something like that. They're scoring a lot, they're pushing the pace, and I think we controlled the game the most part. Only in the fourth quarter, we kind of lost the rhythm.
Jokic toys with them every time they meet. Embiid dominates them on both ends, and even Giannis, who isn't a traditional center, bullies them inside. The Lakers simply don't have the personnel to match up with these types of players. They're constantly at a size disadvantage, forcing them to double-team bigs and leave shooters wide open. This makes their defense vulnerable and easy to exploit. Offensively, it's just as bad. Since they lack size inside, they struggle to finish against bigger defenders. Every team knows that if they clog the paint against the Lakers, they can force them into bad jump shots and low-percentage looks. This isn't just a regular season issue, it's a disaster waiting to happen in the playoffs. Shannon Sharpe has addressed the Lakers' lack of size. In a recent discussion, he acknowledged the team's deficiency in height, especially after a failed attempt to acquire big man Mark Williams. the Lakers' lack of size isn't just hurting their defense, it's also limiting their offense. Without a strong front court, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are forced to do everything inside.
If, as constructed, barring injury or whatever, if this team loses at some point in the playoffs, I think it will likely just be a size thing where some team overwhelms them.
They're constantly battling bigger defenders, absorbing contact, and carrying the scoring load in the paint. This takes a massive toll on their energy levels, and it also increases the risk of injuries. Beyond that, the Lakers don't have any strong lob threats. Back in their 2020 championship season, they had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee as reliable rim runners who could catch lobs and finish strong inside. Now, they don't have anyone who fills that role. They also lack a dominant post scorer, which means they rely too much on jump shooting. And when their outside shots aren't falling, their offense completely falls apart. This makes them predictable, inconsistent, and easy to defend. The Lakers need to make a move. If they want to compete for a title, they can't go through the rest of the season with this roster. Here are 3 ways they can fix this issue. Make a trade for a true big man. The Lakers need to bring in a dominant center who can help on both ends. Some potential trade targets include Clint Capella, Andre Drummond, or Miles Turner. Each of these players would provide rim protection, rebounding, and interior scoring. If the Lakers want to win now, this is their best option. Use bigger lineups. More often, if they can't get a big man through a trade, they need to stop playing so small. They should consider moving AD back to power forward full-time and playing Jackson Hayes or Christian Wood alongside him. This would give them more size in the paint and help with rebounding. Adjust their defensive strategy. If they don't get a big man, they need to at least improve their interior defense. That means better rotations, more aggressive help defense, and making sure they crash the boards harder. They can't keep letting teams dominate them inside every night. At the end of the day, the Lakers have a serious problem that needs to be fixed. If they don't address their lack of size, they're not going anywhere this season. Beyond the on-court struggles, the Lakers' size problem has huge financial implications. The franchise is spending over $170 million in payroll, making them a luxury tax team, yet they still lack a complete roster. This is a serious issue because, in the NBA, teams that pay the luxury tax are expected to be title contenders, not a team with glaring weaknesses. The Lakers have invested heavily in LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and other key players, but their failure to build a balanced front court makes that spending inefficient. One of the biggest financial concerns is wasting LeBron's contract in his final years. He's making over $47 million this season, and the Lakers can't afford to burn another year of his career without surrounding him with the right pieces. If the team falls short in the playoffs, it will hurt their ability to attract future free agents who want to compete for a championship. No star wants to join a roster that's not built to win. Another major issue is ticket sales and fan interest. The Lakers are one of the most valuable franchises in the NBA, but if they continue struggling, fan frustration will rise, and their marketability could take a hit. A deep playoff run keeps the franchise profitable through ticket sales, merchandise, and TV ratings, but an early exit hurts their revenue. The Lakers must act quickly because failing to fix this issue doesn't just affect their championship hopes, it affects their entire business model. If the Lakers fail to address their size problem, their championship aspirations will take a massive hit. No team with a weak front court has won an NBA title in recent years, and the Lakers are currently one of the smallest and most vulnerable teams in the league. The biggest concern is that their lack of size isn't just an occasional weakness. It's a fundamental flaw that elite teams will exploit in a playoff series. Unlike the regular season where teams adjust game to game, the playoffs expose every weakness. Over a 7-game series, opponents will relentlessly attack their lack of rim protection, weak rebounding, and inability to stop dominant big men. This means that every matchup against teams like Denver, Milwaukee, or Philadelphia will be a nightmare. The Lakers can't afford to keep relying on Anthony Davis to do everything inside, because even if he plays at an elite level, he alone cannot carry an entire front court. Another major concern is LeBron James's championship window. At 39 years old, he's still performing at an incredible level, but the reality is he doesn't have many years left as a top player. the Lakers need to capitalize on this opportunity while they still have him at a high level. Wasting another season with a flawed roster would be a disaster, especially when other contenders are making aggressive moves to get better. Whether it's making a trade for a reliable big man or adjusting their game plan to compensate for their lack of size, the Lakers must take action now before their championship hopes disappear completely.